Welcome back to the Halcyon system, customers. I mean friends. Today I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to be going over the edible, drinkable, topical, injectable, and otherwise consumable products available here in the colony. I'll discuss the companies that produce them and how they're manufactured. So get yourself a can of salt tuna and open up a bottle of lemon slap and settle in. Oh, and if you're tired of that pesky Adrenatime crash and the sudden urge to do a little light marauding, go on and hit subscribe. As a warning, this video contains spoilers for the story of the Outer Worlds. Alright, let's get into it. If you, like me, are an alive person, you'll need to be sure you're getting all the company-approved nutrition you need to keep on working. Luckily, the Halcyon Holdings Corporation and its subsidiary companies has you covered, with a wide range of food and drinks to suit just about any occasion. If the rigors of life in the colony take a toll on your body, and they will, you'll need to keep yourself upright and functional with some of the many pharmaceuticals you'll undoubtedly come across in your journey. Watch out for the inevitable side effects, though. Sometimes, it can be difficult to tell the difference between a food-like product and a drug in Halcyon, as many share effects and sometimes ingredients. Well, I'm here to help you out with that one. But first, let's talk about some of the companies that produce these items. We've already discussed some of them in previous videos. The first, and obviously most favorite, is Spacer's Choice, who makes many of the products available on Halcyon. For more on that, see the video I did on the company earlier in the playlist. Next, you'll find Rizzo's, who makes so many of the fruity, sugary foods and beverages you enjoy. They run an operation on Eridanos that's just, well, don't go looking around or anything. Of course, Auntie Cleo's, a subsidiary of Colway Pharmaceuticals, produces the medicines and other products that help us stay alert and alive. So alert, we can sometimes bend time, but that's a story for another day. C&P produces some of our favorite pork and pork-like products, though if you find a finger in your Borscht and beans, there's no sense complaining. It probably wasn't a mistake. MSI, run out of Monarch and now independent, are responsible for harvesting salt tuna on Monarch. They were the main supplier to the cannery in Edgewater until the blockade by the board. Happydale Farms is an agricultural company and subsidiary of the company called Post Agra. They run dairy farms producing products from woolly cow milk. Glacial Age is another company located on Monarch who produces a number of alcoholic beverages. And who could forget Bumblebee Brewing, responsible for whatever liquor was stored in the barrels we used to decorate our kitchen. Those are the main ones anyway. We'll get into a few more as we go down the list. Okay, so we'll start with food products and their effects. First on our list is meat. Just meat. If you don't have a lot of bits to spend, but you do have some bullets, you can go out hunting, and if they don't kill you first, grab some Raptidon, Canade, or Primal Meat. It applies the meat buff for 2 minutes, giving 25% on your base health. The 2-hour energy brew is an energy beverage made by Spacer's Choice that gives the caffeine drink effect for 30 seconds, increasing mind attributes by +1. Algae Lager, made by a company I haven't mentioned, Rocky Mountain, who apparently only produce a single product. They do sponsor a tossball team though. Algae Lager applies the alcohol buff for 30 seconds. That's +1 to personality attributes, followed by the hangover debuff for 5 minutes. That's -1 on dexterity, perception, and charm. C&P is known for their wide range of pig products, made from cysty pig cysts, mostly. They produce canned and boxed meat products, including Borstwurst, Borst Pockets, and I can't believe it's not Borst. These products apply the meat buff for 2 minutes. You can also, but shouldn't, get Clive's Special Borst A, B, and C, which is really not Borst. These give the poison debuff for 2 seconds, which deals damage over time and reduces personality attributes. What has science done? Well, Auntie Cleo's is here to answer that question with a bag of tobacco ears, a product which, despite its name, also offers the meat buff for 15 seconds. Bread Noodles, manufactured by Spacer's Choice, gives the carbohydrate buff for 2 minutes, applying 200% natural health regeneration. Worth popping in the inhaler before a tough fight. Nanners are definitely a fruit or fruit-like object. Manufactured by Spacer's Choice, they offer the carbohydrate buff as well, for 2 minutes. They're also used by Rizzo's to produce a drink called Nannerspank, which offers 1 minute of the caffeine buff. Here comes C&P again with more bits taken off of cysty pigs, such as cysty chops, deep-fried cysty bits, and just a big bag of cysty tumors. These all also offer the meat buff for 2 minutes. Happydale Farms brings us the finest cacao products in a small radius around where they make them. We can get cacao milk, a chocolate-ish beverage, which gives us the sugary drink buff for 1 minute and 30 seconds. That's +1 to all body attributes. We can also buy their cacao ribs, which gives us the meat buff for 2 minutes. What's a cacao? It's a woolly cow with cacao plant genes grafted to it. The horrors persist. Auntie Cleo's brings us something a little more familiar in the form of Catch Up, a tomato-flavored condiment, much like those we have today. For reasons best left unanswered, it applies the meat buff for 2 minutes. The Dark Matter bar by Rizzo's gives us the carbohydrate buff, but only for 20 seconds, so don't get shot too much. Dehydrated water tablets by Spacer's Choice are a bit of a mystery, though they apply the sugary drinks buff for 30 seconds. Fish sticks, made by Spacer's Choice using saltuna, applies the meat buff for 2 minutes. The frozen dinner is also made by Spacer's Choice and also gives us the meat buff for 2 minutes. Rizzo's brings us the Gigantor energy drink. It gives us a much longer caffeine high than smaller contenders. The caffeine buff lasts for a full minute. Glacier water, made by Glacial Age, comes from a really weird glacier because it gives us the caffeine buff for a minute and 30 seconds. Next is Iceberg Aged Whiskey, manufactured by Glacial Age. It offers the alcohol buff for 1 minute and 30 seconds, followed by the hangover debuff for 5 minutes. The Knock You Out bar is made by Rizzo's and gives you the carbohydrate buff for 20 seconds. Rizzo's Lemon Slap is a carbonated lemon-flavored drink, which gives the sugary drink buff for 1 minute. The many things are made from mock apples, a fruit manufactured by Spacer's Choice. The fruit itself offers the carbohydrate buff for 2 minutes. Mock apple cider gives us the alcohol buff for 30 seconds, followed by the hangover debuff for 5 minutes. Mock apple juice gives us 30 seconds of the sugary drink buff, while the shake gives us the same buff for 1 minute and 30 seconds. And the Moab fizzy tea gives us the caffeine buff for 1 minute. Near maple syrup, made from near maple sap, gives us the carbohydrate buff for 20 seconds. It's made by C&P, so let's just be glad there's probably no meat in it. Purpleberry products are almost all made by Rizzo's, who manages the purpleberry orchards on Eridanos. More on that later. They make food and drinks from it, which can be found all over the colony. Purpleberry Bunch, Lunch, Crunch, and Munch all offer the carbohydrate buff for varying amounts of time. Punch and Juice give us the sugary drink buff. Fizzy Tea and Shake, made by Happydale Farms, give us the caffeinated drink buff. And the liqueur and wine give us the alcohol buff, followed by the associated hangover for 5 minutes. If all that's made you hungry, Pancake Mix by C&P can give you the carbohydrates buff for 2 minutes. Don't bother mixing, just choke down the powder. Who has the time to cook when you're being shot at by marauders? Spacer's Choice brings us pre-sliced bread. It's bread, obviously. It gives us the carbohydrate buff for 2 minutes. Also from Spacer's Choice is plain and pure water, which is probably not that. It gives us the sugary drink buff for 30 seconds. Retro Rockets by Rizzo's is a sugary candy in a sparkly rocket-shaped package. It gives us the carbohydrate buff for 20 seconds. Rum and Something, also by Rizzo's, gives us the alcohol buff for 1 minute and 30, followed by a 5-minute hangover. Rizzo's also gives us the long line of Spectrum vodkas, all of which, except for one, give us the alcohol buff for 1 minute and the hangover debuff for 5 minutes. Their products are colored, hence the name. There's Spectrum Yellow, Violet, Red, Orange, Indigo, Green, Blue, Black, and the most recent, Brown. Brown doesn't offer the alcohol buff, it gives us a special effect called Brown Vodka Blues, with buffs to strength, charm, and base health at the cost of mind attributes and dexterity, followed by a 2-minute debuff called Brown Vodka Willies, lowering our base health and body attributes, but increasing our mind attributes and temperament. Ignore the worm in the bottom. Saltuna is a creature found mainly on Monarch. Recent shortages have caused problems with production across the colony, but there are still 2 competing products. Gourmet Saltuna fillets, made by Spacer's Choice, and canned Saltuna in brine, made by Saltuna of the Deep, a company under the umbrella of MSI on Monarch. Both give the meat buff for 2 minutes. If you need to whip up something quick before the marauders get through the door and start shooting, you can grab yourself a can of Spacer's Choice tarmac and cheese for a 2-minute carbohydrate buff. Why not top that with some tartarus sauce, also made by Spacer's Choice, giving the meat buff for 2 minutes. I mean, you're probably going to get shot anyway, go for it. Tired of seeing those pesky sprats running around all the time? Well, you can eat them too. Terra-fried Spratwurst by Spacer's Choice offers the meat buff for 2 minutes. If you're desperate for 2 more minutes of the carbohydrates buff, why not try Tyleritos, a product of some description, manufactured by another company I've not yet mentioned, Tile. It's just called Tile. Trip Tease is a drink on offer by Spacer's Choice. It gives the caffeine buff for 30 seconds. Auntie Cleo's gives us the Tripicale Pasta Pack for 15 seconds of the carbohydrates buff. Tripicale Stout is made by Glacial Age and gives us a 1 minute and 30 second alcohol boost. I suspect that the Tripicale products mentioned here are a reference to the original Star Trek and the Quadrotriticale grain. I might be reaching on that one, but it came to mind. Surprisingly, not last on our list, are the many woolly cow products manufactured by Happydale Farms and C&P. Fresh and half-fresh woolly milk give us the caffeine buff for 1 minute and 30 seconds, while the curds give us the carbohydrate buff for 2 minutes. C&P gives us the woolly fillet, which gives us the meat buff for 2 minutes. And Our last food, or food-like product, is 0G Brew by Spacer's Choice, giving us the alcohol buff for 30 seconds, followed by, 5 minutes of the hangover debuff. Food in Halcyon is manufactured and shipped from one end of the colony to the other. While some colonists have been forced to fend for themselves and grow what they can, others live on the products provided by the corporations. The Saltuna Cannery in Edgewater takes in Saltuna from many sources and sends it out to the various vendors in places like the Groundbreaker. Stellar Bay's production of Saltuna has been struggling to find customers since the blockade of Monarch by the board, but hopefully that'll change soon. And places like Eridanos, where Rizzo's harvests and processes purpleberry, have their problems, sure, but at least we get purpleberry. Anyway, things get a bit darker, not much though, when we enter the world of pharmaceuticals, particularly the testing phase. Don't worry about all that though, there are all kinds of effects to be enjoyed. Spacer's Choice gives us the Adreno, an injectable that heals 25% of our health for 2 seconds. You'll find these everywhere in the colony. They'll likely be a staple in your inhaler. Then we come to Adrena Time, also by Spacer's Choice. This particular drug gives us a massive 20% boost to movement and attack speed for 15 seconds, followed by a crash debuff to our speed and all of our attributes for 15 seconds, though this can stack up to 3 times. You might feel the urge to do some marauding as well. Ambidextrine by Spacer's Choice gives us the Sniper buff for 15 seconds. This gives us 15% to critical damage and 25% to weak spot and headshot damage. If you're likely to encounter something toxic, like some of the food I mentioned earlier, you could try some of Auntie Cleo's Antibiotics Cream, which will reduce the harmful status effects duration for about 15 seconds, so eat quickly. Dervish Mist by Spacer's Choice gives a 20% boost to movement and melee attack speed for 15 seconds, without the crash of Adrena Time. Probably a safer alternative to get the speedy buff. Another speed booster is Auntie Cleo's Energizing Cream. Like Dervish Mist, safer and with the same speedy buff. Do you feel like people are looking at you funny? Have you considered that it might be something to do with your face? Auntie Cleo's Facial Skin Mask Cream has you covered, giving you the Leader buff, reducing companion ability cooldown by 50% for 25 seconds. The Spacer's Choice Fast Ration Pill will offer the Carbohydrates boost. That's 200% health regeneration for 2 minutes. In case you forgot. Why not try the Focus It All capsule, also by Spacer's Choice, for the same sniper buff lasting for 20 seconds. Feeling soft? No, I'm not going to make that joke. Hardenerhem Elixir will give you the hardening buff, increasing your armor rating by plus 10 for 25 seconds. Immunosol, made by Auntie Cleo, will give you the immunized buff for 25 seconds. Again, a 50% reduction in harmful status effect duration. Using your tactical time dilation a little too much? Need to boost your recharge rate? Levelhead's got you covered with the Insight buff, boosting your TTD recharge by 50%. Auntie Cleo's Lubrinicine spray will do the same, though only for about 20 seconds. Auntie Cleo's Metallysis gel will also give you the hardened buff. I have to be really careful how I describe this one, but yeah, if you need a boost to your armor, it'll give you a few seconds of hardening. Crap. You know what I mean. If you're instead craving some nicotine, I can't recommend that you consume one of the many types of smokable or topical nicotine products available in the colony. If you must, though, there are many options. Cosmic Smokes, Stogie Slims, Pipe Patch, Nicopad, Spacer's Chaw, Steady Hand, High Society Cigarettes, Spacer's Corona, Perfecto. The nicotine high will reduce your ranged weapon spread and sway for a minute, but the low will reduce them significantly for 5 minutes. Spacer's Choice gives us Ollie Ollie Toxi-Free, which gives us the immunized buff again. And Auntie Cleo's can help us get that sniper's buff with Oxycomp Aromatic. Pep Pills by Spacer's Choice give us the Leader buff, reducing companion cooldown. Then, Skin Tough Salve, also by Spacer's Choice, will give us hardening again. Speaking of awkward entries in a list of items that I chose to do entirely on my own and could have not done, it's time to talk about Stimulotion. Found in bathrooms and boudoirs across the colony, it applies the speedy buff. Best not to use our imaginations any further here. Thinking Caplet by Spacer's Choice gives us the Insight buff, reducing our TTD recharge rate, while Verity's Breath Inhalant helps us when we can't find a mint and have been wandering the desert for days eating scavenged meat, giving us the Leader buff again, reducing companion ability cooldown. Last, and, well, least is relative, Dr. Lowe's Sky High Mix offers us a unique buff, reducing the TTD drain for actions by 80%, which is pretty good actually. Pharmaceuticals like these are manufactured and, more ominously, tested all over the colony, usually in hidden or seemingly abandoned laboratories deep in the wilderness. That's probably nothing to be worried about though, right? Spacer's Choice has operated the facility on Gorgon for some time now and Nothing bad has ever come out of there as far as most people are aware. What's that? No, don't worry about that massive explosion, it was probably nothing. Anyway, things are a-changin' here in Halcyon. If the colonists from the Hope are awakened and the workers and other colonists are forced to work together, things will change. If the board isn't around anymore, a distinct possibility, then there will be a lot of work to be done, but it'll be a better sort of work, hopefully. Probably. The extraction, transportation, and processing of resources will look very different in a colony less tightly controlled by corporate interests. Bits will flow differently, and we'll all probably be able to shake off our hangovers and stop marauding for long enough to do some farming. So now that the colonists have come together, probably, and the board is gone, maybe, the food and drugs that keep Halcyon alive-ish will be a little more difficult to get a hold of. Maybe we won't have to eat tarmac and cheese or choke down bits of, hopefully, Cysty Pig. Maybe we can build something better. We'll see what new foods and pharmaceuticals await us in the far distant future of the Outer Worlds too. Probably not that far, or distant, actually. Well, I hope you had enough snacks to last until the end. If not, head over to your local vending machine and grab yourself a beverage of choice. Just watch out for marauders lurking nearby. I want to thank you all for watching. I appreciate everyone who does, especially if you stick around to the end. If you liked the video, please hit like or, subscribe. If you want to discuss the world or think I missed anything, let me know in the comments down below. Oh, and before you go, I want to give a shout out to my patrons who help support the channel. Our $10 patron is Watuki at the artisan level. If you want to get your name in the credits, head on over and sign up. The Patreon link is in the description. You'll get access to an exclusive Discord and some extra videos I don't put on the channel, and some other fun stuff we're working on over there. And remember, any mishaps as a result of overconsumption of any products mentioned above, which results in injury, loss of limb, or death, are solely the responsibility of the injured party. Enjoy responsibly. Thank you all. Bye, Internet.